Needtobreathe it. What's the name behind the band and where did the whole thing originate? Because you guys are brothers, aren't you?
Yeah. We actually started the band. I started the band just before Bo started playing guitar, so he wasn't in originally. And we started in college and kind of had some really bad bands early on, really bad names. And then he learned how to play, and we kind of kicked the other guy out, and we were off the races. It's been 13 years now, so long time, yeah.
Brilliant. And what's it like, the dynamic being brothers? That must be great, being on the road and doing your thing together.
It's good and bad. It's you know, you're with them all day, every day, you know, in the tight spaces and the backstage and all that. But it's also it's amazing. I think we challenge each other a lot. Definitely very competitive. But I think it keeps a level of expectation around the band where it translates to the other band members. But we just, you know, we never want to give up. Somebody gets tired or lazy or whatever, then we kind of kick them back into shape. And there's that mentality that the band has, where we don't mind saying it if it needs to be said. You know, we don't dance around it, because obviously the language between brothers is often, you know, more harsh than with normal people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you're a family, you don't have to worry about breaking up. Which is that, like you said, is a good and bad thing, you know. It's also, I mean, I think to be able to do stuff like travel the world like we've been able to do. I mean, we're from a small town that's completely not within anybody's imagination. I don't think that we would be doing this, and to be able to do it, you know, with your family is pretty cool.
Yeah. So this small town and this background that you're from, could you paint a picture for us as to what that was like?
Yeah, we grew up in this town, Possum Kingdom, they called it. I don't know if they have possums over here or not.
No.
That's a disgusting.
It's very
looking
unlike
character.
the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's just a town of about 100 people. The nearest neighbor we had was probably a mile or so away. So just as redneck as it could be. You know, we grew up around lakes and rivers, and kind of would go out until dark even when we were kids. But I think my dad ran a camp, and so a lot of people would come in the summer, kids, you know, and we got to meet a lot of different types of people. I think it helped us stay plugged into culture and what we loved about music, and you know, was a part of that. Like we wanted to be cool like those kids were, you know, making. So I think that kind of like started that idea of being entertainers, and you know how fun that could be for us.
So I know you've been to the UK before, you say.
Yeah.
What's it like for you coming from that environment to the UK? Are you a fan of the UK, and what's it like playing over here?
Well, probably the craziest part is that we grew up basically on a farm kind of idea, and the first record we made over here in South England, and they put us on a farm. So it's like we thought we were going, you know, thought we were coming into London. Next thing you know, like
We felt very much like we belong.
we were on a goat farm. So that was pretty wild. But I think we love it over here. I think we've been fans of bands from over here for a long time. So there was something we got. The first record we recorded in the same studio that Supergrass had recorded in. It's like that. So it was like it's just a lot of history to it for us, and we really appreciate how much history matters here. I mean, it's hard to say unless people have come over to the States, or you know, most of the towns it's very strip mall, like, you know, shopping center kind of stuff. Over here, there's so much history in every place. That's really refreshing to be around.
I don't suppose you managed to see the Stones at the O2 the other night, did you?
No.
No, we didn't. It's such a bummer.
I was
didn't see
outside
the-
in the queue trying to get a ticket,
Really?
Yeah.
and I got offered one, but it was 330 quid. So I was just like, I can't be trusted by that.
Yeah.
But their special guest was Eric Clapton.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I still feel physically sick.
Yeah.
Now I'm so annoyed by that.
Yeah.
But
We were here this summer. We got to see. We did the Hyde Park thing, the Hard Rock.
Saw
things.
Paul Simon and Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
I was there actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah, it was. What did you make of the whole thing when they switched him and McCartney off at the end?
I could not believe it. Yeah, I felt like it was, I don't know, for me, it's being music my career, it felt like history. You know, like we saw something that you would never, I couldn't imagine seeing. Sir Paul was up there, I was singing Twist and Shout, and when they unplugged it, at first I thought maybe it was just a glitch, and then it occurred to me that there were signs everywhere backstage, you know, like hard curfew, and they did not just cut off the boss and Sir Paul, but apparently they did. It was weird. I couldn't believe there wasn't, you know, riots or you know, cars burning and all that. Because if there were, I might have joined in.
On the subject of riots, did you see the riots that were in London the summer previously?
Yeah, on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was, because I've not really spoken to many people outside of England about that, how was it portrayed and what did you think about that?
I think for us, it wasn't maybe as shocking. I think mainly because just that kind of stuff. There was recently a riot at Penn State University in America over you know, firing a coach and it just, that kind of stuff is, that stuff's tough every time. I mean, you know what I mean? It's never like the right thing to do. So, but I think people in the States didn't look at it as harshly maybe as you would think.
I suppose there's disassociation through the lens as well, isn't there?
Right. It really is. It really is. Because you know, you think about it with foreign countries, the things we see every day on the news, you just can't, you know, until you kind of go. We're real involved with an organization in Uganda, this medical mission thing. I got to go to Uganda in December. It was just like see what healthcare was like there. It blew me away. And even after coming back, you know, a week back, 2 weeks back, you can't even, you know, I still can't put myself. I can't even think it was reality in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it hit me really, really hard. It was just we have it so good here.
Yeah. So what's the name of the organization?
It's called Palmetto Medical Initiative, and what they do is they build clinics there. So the idea is to do something sustainable, and so they built a hospital staffed by Ugandans, and they don't turn anybody away. But if you can pay, you do, and it's just run really, really well. And it's already making money. The idea is to just plant these. They're going to Nicaragua now and some other cities in Africa. So. It's kind of cool, you know, an idea that you can plant something and it really lasts.
Yeah. And it's good that they're planting something as well, you know, they're not just like chucking some money and then running, you know, they're actually putting something into place.
It's huge for us. Yeah, it's huge for us because there's a lot of those types of organizations and they come after bands, you know. But to find somebody who's willing to, we felt like partner with us in the right way, like be creative. We didn't want money from it. We wanted to be like, how can we do things in different shows that don't bore our fans if they came to all the shows, you know. So we need to change it up, you know, how to get our fans involved, and they've been great about that. And then to see on the ground what it's like, I mean, you want to support an organization who doesn't just take the easy money too, you know, because it's easy to go to Africa and treat AIDS. To be honest, there's a lot of money to treat that, but malaria kills people too, you know. And so it's like, how can we be the most effective, I guess? And it feels like the organization's really trying to do that, which is impressive.
I'll look it up, it sounds interesting. Yeah. Coming back to your music a bit more, I've seen when I've done a bit of research online that you've been on Letterman, I think Leno as well, and then you supported Taylor Swift in some major gigs. Have you got any things that kind of stand out for pivotal moments for you guys? And also, what are the knock-on effects of those things?
Yeah, I mean, Leno was definitely the first late night show we played. It scared us to death, and that's one of those things, like when you're, at least for American bands, you always talk about that as like the thing, you know, you made it. If I don't know if that's true anymore. I really don't think it is, but we definitely were as nervous as that. It felt like, you know, it finally happened, and I think the effects of it. I think we've gotten more and more comfortable in that scenario, which has been great. Because the last couple of times we've really enjoyed it. We dressed up like women recently for Halloween on a Conan O'Brien show, which we never would have done, you know, early on. We just
Funny
had some fun
that.
with it.
I was looking on YouTube just to check out your videos and interviews and things, and I saw one and it said Needtobreathe, and they had these blokes dressed as women. I was like, well, that's not them. Skip straight past it. But it was.
It was Halloween night, so it's like, give it a shot and see what happens. And they actually dressed us up a lot crazier than we thought. You know, it was all right. We sent some pictures, but then we got there and they were like, oh, here's your panties and bra. And we were like, whoa.
Yeah, the wig and the dress we thought was going to be enough, but the whole full-on makeup and yeah, it was a little more. I felt a little more vulnerable than I intended.
If you're gonna do it though.
Yeah, we had the
Yeah.
heels and everything.
Okay then, and with the Taylor Swift gigs, those were pretty big, weren't they? What was all that like?
It was pretty tough for us, especially early on. I mean, because we hadn't played in arenas and stadiums before, so we took it a little bit as a challenge. And we always thought, her fans are much younger than ours in some ways, and pretty different, And we always looked at it like, we felt like people like Elvis and the Beatles, those people could play in front of anyone and people would like it. It wasn't a genre thing. We always hated that idea that, oh, well, this is not like indie rock, so they're not gonna like it. But it was tough for us to relate to that audience, for a while. I think we really pushed through that, and it made us a lot better band. I think, when you can get in front of 40,000, connect like you do when it's 40. That's a real trick, and we were terrible at it early on. So I think the tour was really good for us because of that. I mean, obviously we got to play in front of tons of people and make a lot of new fans. But in terms of the way the band got better, we had to get out of our shell a little bit and do things differently.
Yeah. And then finally, just to wrap it up, I know you're going to be dotting up to Dublin and also to Glasgow. But what's the plan after that in the short term and also the longer plan? What's the big game plan there?
We're gonna go make a record here pretty soon. So we start. I think like the Monday we get back from here. So we're ready to roll now. We're excited. So we've been writing for a long time, so we feel like we're ready. But going and doing some experimenting for a while, and then we'll do a tour in the spring. So another headlining tour, which we're planning a little bit now to a bigger, elaborate thing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And then any parting comments to the UK fans or the Bristol fans?
And thanks for having us. It's been incredible. And come see the band if you haven't. That's what we do. You can listen to the record, but it's not the same as coming to the show. So it meant a lot to us.
And we've been over to these parts 3 times now, I guess, in the last 2 years. And I think for us as a band, we love it here, and so we're definitely committed to coming, every couple of months, and we're gonna make a trip and hopefully keep your eyes out for us. We'll be coming soon.